What's up, everybody? I wanted to give you a tutorial on TradingView. If you ever opened up TradingView and thought it looked confusing, I want you to know that you're not alone. I'm going to show you today how I set up my charts in under 10 minutes. Let's first start with how to open TradingView. So I already have a chart open. So let me go ahead here and just close out some of this. I'm going to go ahead and sign out. So like I said, I already have a chart and my settings are already here, but the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and log into TradingView. And when you log into TradingView, it's going to already have this set up here. So you want to create an account first, and then when you create your account, it'll look. When you create your account, you go set up for the first time. Now I have a template here, but your TradingView is going to look like one chart. Now your candles may be red or green, depending upon what you have set up. But up here, you want to make sure that this is set to candles. And there's a down arrow here where you can actually expose different type of candles and things like that. But the regular way that most traders use is just candles. So just go ahead and hit the down arrow and just put that on candles. And then you could do that here. To the left side, you'll see these numbers. These are basically different time frames. So right now we are on the 18-minute chart. You can see 18-minute chart right here. There's a 9-minute chart. You'll see that the view of the candles gets closer or more far away. Like if I go out to a 3-hour, I can see like a more zoomed out view of the chart. Then you can actually take two fingers if you're using like a trackpad. You can scroll down to bring it closer and things like that. I mark up my charts a lot, which is why mine looks like this. But if you ever want to get rid of your drawings, you could just go over here to the trash can and just go remove drawings, and it'll go look like this. So when you see a candle go up, what that is that's basically a candle that's an asset that's rising in price. And if you want to see the asset that you're looking at, over here to the top left, this is gold, and you see here that this is gold. If you click here, there's a lot of different other assets we could pick from. You could go stocks, you could go futures, you can go forex, whatever you want to do. TradingView gives you access to all of them. I primarily trade gold, so that's what I'm looking at here. But let's just say, for example, we could just change this and type in BTC USD for Bitcoin, and then there's Bitcoin, and this is what price looks like for Bitcoin. So right now you see Bitcoin is pulling back into this fair value gap, and right now Bitcoin is trading at about 113,569. Man, could you imagine if you would have gotten Bitcoin back when it was down here, back when it was trading at 100,539, or even if you'd have got in way down here when it was 84,367. So basically what this does is this shows you where Bitcoin or the asset is trading at. So you see Bitcoin has risen in price. This was April 2025. So from April 2025 to now, Bitcoin is basically trading at 100,331. So that's how you can see what the asset is trading at. So you can switch between time frames here: 3-minute, 6-minute, 9-minute, 18-minute. And if you ever want to get a more clear view of what's going on after you change the time frame, you can do right click, reset chart view, and it'll look more something like that. So that's how you go through the time frames. Do me a favor, if you in the comments, if you want me to break down something specifically on the chart, just go ahead and type that in the comments. Let me know what you may be struggling with most, and we can definitely figure out how to get you clarity on what you're looking at with TradingView. My goal is for me to show you how this can be viewed simply. I started looking at TradingView back in like when I was 38. I didn't get any of this when I was like a teenager, and then in my 20s. I started learning this in my 30s. And the more you look at it, the more it'll start to make sense to you. But now let's go back to the asset that I really like, which is gold. And like I said, gold is a favorite of mine, so I can even click here and I can go click gold, and it'll take me right back to what I like to trade. So you can save favorites here. If there's ever an asset you're looking at, you can right click and you can just save it. So let's look at gold real quick. And as you see, when price is going down, like we see right here, it was at 33.49, and then it went down to, what's this, 33.28, and then it went up again, then it went down to 33.21. That's what you would call, what some traders would say is like a sell. So that's price moving down. Now you see price jumped up from 33.21 up here to 33.75. That would be like considered a buy or price moving up in value. Now let me show you some tools that you have access to. Now if you ever want to like mark a level, that's very common in trading. There's things called a trend line here. This is what's called a measurement or prediction tools, like a Fibonacci. These are patterns. This is like a short position, so you can manage. You could actually measure out the distance on trades, depending on your strategy and what you're looking at. That's going to be different for everybody. Then we actually have these different shapes you can get into. Here's something you could do with a shape. So like sometimes I use a circle. So let's say I want to identify this area right here. I could left click and I can expand the little circle. And this means that I can go back here, and then this is something that I could reference later. So you can actually mark little zones on your chart. I use circles a lot. And this is something that you can actually use to take a look at different things. This is a circle. I could get out of this circle, get rid of that, and I could use another rectangle. Maybe I want to do a rectangle. Like I'm looking at this and I see that this is what's called an area that I'd be interested in based on my strategy. So that's something that I would mark, and that tells me that that could be like a reversal zone, something like that. So these rectangles can be utilized to help you pay attention to a area on a chart before something actually happens. So that's what these are. Then there's these icons you could use. Like sometimes if I want to point out something that I notice, I'll do something like this, and I can make it bigger. Stay with me now. Don't zone out. This is really, really important. If you can get this, depending on your strategy, you can actually learn and capitalize on these moves depending upon what your strategy is. I actually do have a strategy that my subscribers or people that are inside of my community take advantage of, and you can definitely, like, in the comments I can send you some more information on that. But this is just a simple tutorial. If you want to, I use the magnet here a lot too. What the magnet does is, let's say for instance if I want to get to the very top or bottom of an area, the magnet will just zoom in on it. See like how it's snapping? See how it's snapping in place? And then I could actually do something like this. I could hit the shift and then the left button, and that give me a straight line, and I could do it again. Let's say I want to look at this area. If you notice, you'll see like the price is kind of snapping into place. That's because I have the magnet tool on. I could do a straight line, shift, left, and things like that. So this is basically like how to use your tools on TradingView. And when I was getting started, like based upon my strategy, I would YouTube a lot of things, and I would look things up, and that's why I actually am making this video, because the me that wanted to learn this years ago, there was one video I was able to find, but everything else really was trial and error. And I was fortunate enough to have a mentor that showed me things as well. But you really want to just take time to really play with the tools. The main tools that you'll use is what I showed you: trend line, the prediction tools, something you could use. You could actually measure out a range using a fib. And again, this is all just based on your strategy though. So everything is gonna be based upon how you trade and what your strategy is. But so something like this, I would use. This would show me that price taking this low, it's eventually going to reach up here. It doesn't always, but most of the time it will. Like based upon that little area I marked out, you see price actually hit what this would be called TP3, which is TP1, TP2, TP3, TP4. It hasn't quite hit TP4 yet, but it did hit TP3 right here. And it hit TP3 from this move. So this move actually showed Tuesday last week, and it took to Friday, so it took about 3 days to hit TP3. But based upon that move right there, that's the way you can use the fib. You can measure how far a trade could go. That's something else you could also do. So if you want me to break down more beginner trading tools step by step, subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments what you'd like for me to cover next. All right? Well, listen, I really appreciate you tapping in today, and I'm really active in my chat. Thank you for checking out the video, and like and subscribe if you want more information. All right? It goes deeper and it gets deeper, but this is something that you can really utilize to really understand the charts, movements, and to actually grow an account. So tap in if you want to see more. Okay? Have a good day. Thanks for tapping in. Appreciate you. All right now.